Hello and welcome to the Stamp Camp. I'm Glenda Calkins, and today I am going to show you how to create a faux paper quilting card, specifically a bird on a card. I had this card or a group of cards on my blog a few weeks back showcasing how I use the designer series paper to create a faux quilted card of a bird. So today I'm going to show you how that is done. This was something that my upline France Martin showed in our team meeting, and it was a challenge to the rest of the team to redo the card in your own designer series paper, your own style. So that's what we did, and I had lots of requests to see a video on it, so that's what I'm doing today. Let's change the camera and get started. Alright, so the supplies you're going to need. Start out with a piece of white or very vanilla or a lighter color cardstock that is 4 inches by 5.5. And then you're going to need little 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 squares of designer series paper. I like to use 3 different prints. The paper that I'm using is the Nature's Elegance. And make sure that's right. Earth and Elegance, sorry. It is the Earth and Elegance 12 by 12 designer series paper. Now this is on the clearance rack and it is on sale. Now you only have today and I believe tomorrow to get the orders in on that last chance retired list products. Because after April they are gone for good. So this paper I thought worked really well for my quilting birds. So I just took 3 of the prints from the pack. Actually I have 4 because this is going to be the beak. And then the body is going to be the pink, and then the pebbled path with a little lighter taupe color there, and then this piece right here. I like to make the belly of the bird a little lighter shade of color. You'll see how it all comes together. So let's start with our piece. Again, that's 4 by 5.5. So we're going to make a mark at, because this is 4 inches, at 2, that would be half. So I'm going to just do a mark, and then we're going to come this way, and we want to do half of this, which is 2.5 is half of 5. So this was my half mark. So I'm just lightly drawing. Let's see. Where's my 2 inches? 2 inches was right there. 2 inches by, I just need a little mark. Kind of the center of the paper. That does not look centered. It isn't. This is my 2-inch mark right there. All right. 2 inches. Let me erase that. So that's the center of this piece. Now it doesn't really matter. It's kind of just for the placement of your pieces because we're going to cut it down after we're done. But just to make sure your bird is going to fit on this piece, this helps to make sure that you're going to stay within the perimeter of the white. So now you're going to start out, I'm going to start out with his belly, and that's going to go to this side of the cross piece where it centers. So the point is at the center of the cardstock. And then I don't know if it's easier if I lay out the pieces and then glue them down so you can see, but you're going to back up the little squares. So if you're a quilter, you know exactly what's happening here. And then I want just a half, so a few of these we're going to just take our 3 1/4 inch by 3 1/4 inch, 3 1/4, 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch square, and we're going to cut them in half. All right, so it would be like that. And then we're going to need another one of those. You probably could do a 1 inch by 1 inch, but I think it might fall off the paper. I think it would just be a little bit too big. the 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 by 3/4 is perfect size. So those are going to go like that. And then that's going to be for the beak. I'm going to use a couple of these for this little tail feather here. So we're going to go like that. This one is going to go up like this. Once I stick them all together with glue, you'll really get an idea of how this is going together. So this point right here is as far down as we're going to come on the paper. And then we're going to come on this side of the line with our kind of neutral color. I like the belly of the bird to be a little lighter in color. And I'm also going to need some halves of that. And we're just going to fill in. And I'm not worried about that pencil mark. I can erase that. It's just for placement. And then for the bird's head, I'm going to take another one of the squares. And if you got a corner rounder, you can use that. If you have your scissors handy, you can just kind of round the corner like so. And then I'm going to take one of these, it's just a different color from the pack. It's the same pack, just a different print for the beak. So I'm going to put my adhesive on the back, and then I will come in making a little pointed beak like so. And that's going to go up here. Keep that in there. And then we need 2 more of this on in that diagonal. And that's going to come in there. And then that one's going to go there. So you can see that we're in that perimeter and we're going to cut this down. So you can either, I'm going to show you when I'm done, a slimline card that I made with 2 birds. And I just laid it all out like this first and then glued it down once I knew it was going to fit in the perimeter of my cardstock. So then I didn't draw any pencil marks. But if that helps you to do that, go ahead and draw those pencil marks. Maybe what I'll do is save that to the side so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll cut another piece by 5. So I started out with 4 by 5. And I'm just going to eyeball this without drawing the pencil marks because I think it's easy enough to do without that. So I'm going to start out with my 2 in the center there and my 1 on the side. And then I should have, just to verify that I'm within the perimeter, whoops. And then I need 1 more cut on an angle. And I should be good. Yeah, we should be perfect. So now I can start gluing them into place. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'll do the pink. Let's see. I want to make sure that it's straight. I guess that's where the pencil mark does help a little bit. So basically you're going to glue them in place just how I have that one there. you're going to butt those edges up. I need a half. Once you start making these, they get pretty addicting. And they turn out so cute. So that one's there. We can add these. So this used both sides of this particular print. I'm gonna, since this one don't want to stay the way I want it, that made a mess. We're gonna put that one there. Put that one there. Whoops. So some of these you're making a square again when you cut it in half, but you're using two different prints. So it's just a matter of cutting your squares. Oops, I got that wrong. Oops. Should be like this. There we go. And then I need another half. We're going to move that just a hair. And that, oops, starting to get sticky. That is going to go there. Then I have my body here, so I need a half of the lighter. And that's going to go against that one to make that square. This is going to fill in right here. Now remember, we're quilting, so when we're done getting these all, we're going to run this through the emboss machine inside of an embossing folder to give that quilting look. Just rounded the corner. I'm going to take another one of these and just chop off the edge for my beak. Place that behind, and then put a little glue on there. One more piece. And that's going to go right there. All right, so far so good. It's really going to come together once we run it through and then put the embellishments on there. So I will attach that probably after, so you guys don't have to watch me do that again. But I just thought that would be a little bit of a reference for you so you can see where those pieces all came together. So I'm going to set that aside as easily as I can, or as nicely, so it doesn't get all messed up. Now this, I want to cut this down to, I think it's 3.5 by 3.5. Let me see what my mat is. 3 3/4. So yes, I want this to be 3.5 by 3.5. So, whoops, I'm going to bring in my cutter. And I'm going to put it at 3.5 and see where that leaves me. I might be cutting the beak off, so I'm just going to move this down a little bit. There we go. You kind of want to just take a little bit here and a little bit there until you get the size that you want. So I'm just kind of bringing it down. So now the sides are 3.5, and now I want to do the same this way. So I think that should be good. That's 3.5 by 3.5. And that should fit on my pecan pie. Or I could, you know what, I think I'm gonna like, that is Pebble Path. I think I might like that better. Yep. All right, let's do that instead. Switch things up. So that is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Yeah, I like that. And then I'm going to put that on a piece of white. That is 4 by 4. And then my card base is going to be the Moody Mauve. And I cut this at 4 1/4 by 9 3/4 and scored it at 5 1/2. So I cut off 1 1/4 inch. Yes, 1 1/4 inch off the bottom on the front of the card. And then I have my white that's going to go on the inside like that. And then this will be up here. Now first we have to run that through our cut and emboss machine. The embossing folder that I'm going to be using is a new one. It's in that new annual catalog that begins May 1st, so you don't have long to wait. It is the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. I think that will be pretty. And then we just need to run that through. So let me bring in my cut and emboss machine. Lay this down. I let it dry, so that's why I was doing all the cutting and everything, because I wanted it to dry a little bit. Let me see that if I can clear that up a little bit. It looks a little blurry. That looks better. Okay, so I have my embossing folder. Now this is the raised up side and this is the indented side. I want to put the bird in down over the top of the indented side so that the raised side will go down into my bird. So I want to fold that. Now, to figure out what sandwich you need for embossing folders, this is a 3D embossing folder. So it says I need to use number 4 and number 1. Well, this is number 1 and this is number 4. So that's my sandwich. So I put number 1 down. The hinge part of your embossing folder goes in the machine first, and then number 4 will go on top, and then you just crank that through. And we should have an embossed bird, or quilted, if you will. So let me get this out of the way. Don't want it to snap hard, so keep the noise down. All right, so there, isn't he cute? So we're going to start layering it up on our card. I kind of mixed some old products that were retiring with some new products coming out May 1st. So some of these you might already have on hand. Some you might want to grab on May 1st when they become available. So I'm adhering that down, and I'm using my liquid glue because whenever I emboss, I like to use the liquid glue because sometimes the Stamp and Seal will rip the cardstock. So that's going to go on the white. I suppose I could put it right to the Melon Mambo and not put the white layer. It would just have a bigger, that's kind of pretty too. Yep, maybe I'll switch it up. It's kind of like creating on the fly here. Just like that. Now this is going to be my inside piece, but I'm going to stamp a sentiment across the bottom that will show when a card is closed. So I am going to be using a new stamp set that is in the new catalog that comes out May 1st. It is called the Sweetly Scripted, and I'm going to use that happy birthday right there. I'm going to have to grab my Pebbled Path ink pad for that because I changed my color, and I'm just going to ink that up. And you know what, I'm thinking I'm going to put that in there just so I want to see about where I want this. So about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, I think, like so. Should be good. I could have went a little lower maybe. Let's put that down. I think that's pretty good. So we're going to attach that to the inside now. And then I have some to show you, some samples, especially when I did the two birds. So cute. Alright, so that's how that is. Now to decorate this, which is really going to make that bird pop, we're going to take these retired rustic metallic dots, and I just checked and they are no longer available. They are sold out. So you really any gems that you have, but look at how that makes a cute eyeball. Look at that. And then you can just put a few here and there. So if you have any of these on hand, you're all set. Otherwise, you can use any other gems that you might have handy. I think I might just leave it like that. So cute. That is your quilted bird. Now let me show you which one this one was the one I was playing around with. And I went with the, what is that? Pecan pie, but now that I looked at it, I really like the Pebbled Path a little bit better. And the reason why I did the pecan pie was because of this little cute anniversary card. This is two birds. So all I did was, this bird is like these. I just flipped it around. So I just did the opposite way, and I got my two birds. The Happy Anniversary Scripted is also in the Sweetly Scripted stamp set. And that embossing folder, huge. Did I say huge? That is a new one from the annual catalog coming out May 1st. It is called the Dotted Circles 3D. Look at the size of that. It is a regular half piece of cardstock. So it's like 6 by 8.5. So easily do those slimline cards. Now I did this. It is 4. Is it 4 by 8? It is 4 by 8.5. So you cut your paper, your cardstock, 7.5 by 8.5. Score it at 3 3¾ And then my white is, what is my white? My white is 3.5 by 3.5 by 8.5. And then I did my birds. So cute. And I embossed it with that huge embossing folder. Isn't that a cute anniversary card? Now that will fit inside your regular legal size envelope like that. So that will fit right inside there. But that's where I got the, because I pulled out the pecan pie out of that print right there. So that's how I got that. But now I like the Pebbled Path with that print. So there you have it. That is how you create those quilted paper bird cards that I posted on my blog, and you'll find these on my blog today as well with the instructions and then you can watch the video for how you do those little squares. But that is it for today. Thanks for stopping by.